All righty, guys. Without further ado, man, this is a special occasion because this is the first ever episode of the What's in Your Bag podcast with Andrew Robinson. You heard it here first, man. What's in Your Bag is the new name of this new show, man. So, before we get into it, man, um, make sure you're liking this podcast, subscribing to this podcast. As we always say, just like we did on the auto bid, man. What's in your bag is gonna be a dope concept, man. Just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on the name. Obviously as hoopers, you know what I'm saying. You always ask folks what's in your bag, you know what I'm saying. As far as a skill perspective, you know what I'm saying. You got some pat, you got a little jumper, whatever it may be that you got in your bag, But also, what's in your bag is gonna be kind of a way for me to kind of ask athletes, what's in your bag outside of basketball? What's in your arsenal, man? Do you do anything outside of the court, whether it's fashion, media, investing, content creation, whatever it may be, man. I think it's very important to me to kind of talk to athletes about that aspect of their lives. Obviously, as for me, um, I'm a basketball player, but I'm also a journalist. I'm also a content creator. I do a bunch of different things. So I think, in today's age, seeing athletes wear different hats is huge, man. I've been recently watching YouTube, man. I'm seeing DeMar DeRozan got a Comp 10 series on Instagram. On YouTube that I'm getting ready to tap into. Bones Highland got a This Could Be You series. Darius Garland has a YouTube channel. Jordan Clarkson is doing this series called The Manila Man. So I'm truly inspired, man. I think I've never been more inspired to be an athlete in today's economy, man. And even just watching guys like Draymond Green and JJ Redick with the old man in the three, the Point Forward podcast with Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala. I've never been more inspired to be an athlete in this economy where you can literally be in the media space and obviously an athlete as well, man. I think that this podcast is going to allow me to also kind of step into that space and grow my own platform. So that's kind of a backstory on the name, what's in your bag. And obviously, like I said, the name is obviously what's in your bag with Andrew Robinson. But my twin brother, Aaron Robinson, is back on this first inaugural episode of What's in Your Bag, man. We lied to you guys on the last episode. I told you guys that last episode was probably gonna be the last time me and Ace were gonna be on the podcast for a while, but we couldn't stay apart for too long, and we're back at it for the first episode of this podcast, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way, man. But you gotta probably ask him, man, what happened so quickly, man? Ace is back on the podcast, and I must say, guys, this is literally why Ace on the podcast. Before we introduce a special guest, because this is a big time guest, this is no cap. I'm not even exaggerating, gassing it up. The guest that we had on the podcast literally requested that Ace be on the show. You know what I'm saying? Originally, it was going to be just me and him on the podcast. And he said, yo, man, where your brother at? I said, I don't know, man. He big time. He working for the Clippers now. You know what I'm saying? He forgot about me. He said, man, call him right now and get him on the pod, man. And lo and behold, man, Ace made it work. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't turn it down, man. So Ace, man, welcome on the What's in Your Bag podcast, man. We're glad to have you on.
Hey man, listen. When the NBA champ personally requests your presence, man, you got to make sure you oblige. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't going to turn down an NBA champion, requesting me to be on, man. Obviously, it's an honor to be on. With you one last time, if it is one last time. But obviously, I'm excited to be here, baby. What's in your bag is going to be a great endeavor, and I'm excited as we step into this new season of All Facts Media, man. And we got a great episode for you guys, man. I can't wait for you guys to find out who the guest is and to get this interview, man, because this truly was a special interview, man, for sure.
For sure. So, Ace, man, but before we get into the guest and obviously, bring him on, man, tell us about Vegas, man. Tell us about the Clippers. Tell us about what the first couple days/weeks have been like on the job, man. I know the folks are dying to know.
It's been a dream, man. I mean, this whole experience, man, it's just been wild. Just like obviously as basketball players, as sports fans, you grow up and your dream is to make it to the NBA. As a player, that was always my dream, just to make it to the league. And obviously I think we all wanted to look a certain way. But God had other plans for me, man, and he really, I feel like he strategically placed me here in this role with the Clippers, man. And it's been a dream, man. Just everybody in the organization, man, is amazing, man. This is truly like, you hear people say all the time, it's about the people, but I've spoken to people in the organization that have worked for other teams, man. We truly have some of the best people in the National Basketball Association here in LA working for the Clippers, man. From from the players to the front office people to our head coach Ty Lue, to our chefs that work in the kitchen, to our performance staff, to trainers, to the analytics team. I mean, everybody here is just welcome me with open arms, man. They've always been checking on me, making sure that I'm okay, making sure that I'm taken care of. And I've truly been blessed to be here, man. So it's gonna be a good year, man. We had a great team, obviously. Starting training camp out here in Vegas, man. So excited to see, what the guys look like and just experience it all, to take it all in, man. But it's truly been a dream come true, man. I really can't even put it into words. What it's been like just being here, living in LA, and being around all the guys, man. It's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, man. Ace then got bougie on us, man. He literally eating dinner at Catch Vegas. About to go to another steakhouse tonight, staying at the Aria top floor, talking about the team chefs. I mean, dang, you know what I'm saying? Can I get like you, man? Must be nice. Sheesh, my man top floor with it.
Coming from the dude living in Japan right now, man. You out here traveling the world. I'm trying to get like you, man. My man been in like 4 continents in the last like year, man. North America, Central America, Europe, and Asia, man. I'm trying to get like Drew Fly, man. Real rap.
Hey, listen, man. Life is good, man, for the Robinson twins, man. Life definitely is good right now, man. But enough about us, man. Like I said, we have a special guest, man. I've been holding out on the name because I think that this is an episode that honestly I've been super excited about, super excited to announce. So without further ado, man, I'm happy to announce to you guys, man, we have a wonderful interview coming up for you guys with 2-time NBA champion, NCAA champion, McDonald's All-American, 2-time D-League All-Star, 2-time first-team All-NBA G League, 54-90 club in the G League, NBA D-League All-Star Game MVP, DMV's finest, author as well. We'll get into that on the podcast, but he's also an author, man. And that's none other than Quinn Cook, man. Definitely excited to have you guys. Definitely excited to get you guys this interview, man. Quinn was absolutely amazing. He told some great stories, man. We're absolutely honored to get you guys this interview, man. So without further ado, man, we're going to get you guys over to Quinn, and we'll see you guys on the back end. Without further ado, man, we got a special guest today, man. We got one of the best to ever come out the DMV, man. 2-time NBA champ, college national champion, McDonald's All-American. You know what I'm saying? The resume is very hectic, man. We're gonna be here for days if I try to read it all, man. But none other than Quinn Cook, man. So Quinn, man, thank you for hopping on with us.
Nah, I appreciate y'all having me. I know we've been trying to get it done for a while, man. I appreciate y'all, having this platform.
Nah, no doubt, man. Definitely been shoot, man. This time change is crazy, man. Trying to get it done from Japan, man. So definitely shout out to you, man, for hopping on, man. I know you definitely didn't have to do it, man. So taking the time out, we definitely appreciate you, man. But definitely gonna get right into it, man. First and foremost, obviously, man, congrats on the new deal. You just signed a 1-year deal with the Sacramento Kings, man. And for you, this is gonna be kind of your return to the league. After kind of taking a trip over to Russia last year and trip through the G League, man. What are you looking forward to bringing to the Kings to this year, and just what are you looking forward to about this opportunity?
Yeah, my best part, the best part I'm looking forward to is just my leadership. Going into year 8 is just like, I've been around the block. I've been around bad teams. I've been around great teams. So just trying to lead, trying to do what, my vets have done for me early in my career. And obviously for Sacramento, getting a new staff, and Mike Brown has won championships, and he's been, the head coach of the Lakers. He coached Kobe. He's been the head coach of the Cavs with LeBron, took Cleveland to the finals. He has a winning pedigree. So it's been a reflection of him, man. And, Sacramento has been to the playoffs in a while. So obviously we want to change that this year. And we got the challenge to do it. And Sacramento has kind of been, on the rise the past couple of years. And, I'm looking forward to just continue to grow as a player and as a man, for sure.
Now, obviously, you mentioned year 8 as a pro, man. And it's wild hearing you say that. I remember back when you was in high school, man, and back at the bathroom, man. But obviously, your career has transitioned a lot, obviously, from when you were a younger guy, playing with a lot of vets, obviously LeBron, KD, Steph, and AD, list goes on. And now, you're one of the vets having to kind of usher and mentor some younger guys, obviously, Davion Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, a lot of those guys are over there now, man. I mean, just what's your mindset, and how are you kind of viewing this shift, right, in your role from younger guy to now being one of the elder statesmen in the NBA locker room?
Yeah, no, I mean, great question. It's just different. It's just different. I mean, the last couple of years, I've gone to teams where championship or bust kind of mentality, but here it's a new challenge. I think with the Western Conference being so loaded, it's a great challenge for us every single night. Obviously, there's no nights off in the NBA, but if you look at the Western Conference, man, I mean, there's literally no night off. So to play teams 3-4 times a year, it's going to be tough, but it starts with your habits, right? It starts with, the stuff that you're doing off the court. It starts with your the pedigree of the guys you have in the locker room. I mean, Sabonis is an all-star in the league. He's won the Indiana. He's been in the playoffs. Harrison Barnes is one of the, NBA championship with the Warriors, started on that team. So, you got a guy like De'Aaron Fox who could be an all-star in this league. And you just have so many pieces that, I think we have a great nucleus to be special. So for me, it's just like I've been around the block. I've scored 30 points. I've, hit big shots, played big minutes in the finals, playoffs, and all that. But, I've had battles. I've had respect in this league. So it's just for me, just trying to find that niche on the team. But hey, if I don't play 5-6 games, I'll be ready on a 7th game, and just keeping guys, holding them accountable. So I'm excited for it, man. And like I said, it goes quick, it goes fast, man. I'm in year 8. I can remember my DeMatha days, my Duke days. So I just want to appreciate every day, every opportunity, man. And I'm looking forward to it.
Now, wait, before you go, I want to have a quick follow-up. Obviously, you spent some time with Mike Brown in Golden State, obviously, when he was an assistant there, and he's obviously now the head coach for the Kings. I mean, what do you kind of taking into this chapter here, as both you guys are kind of coming into a new situation, and just with your relationship with him, what are you looking forward to kind of reuniting with him in Sacramento?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great. Mike has been my guy. Obviously since I was in Golden State, our 2 years together was great. We kept in contact after. I finished last year on the Stockton Kings, Sacramento's D-League team, the last 10 games of the season. So I had that rapport with the Kings nucleus already, just going up to the games. Alvin Gentry was a coach. He coached me in New Orleans. So, when Mike got the job, they invited me, said that I was, in the running, assigned, and they wanted to see it, how good I looked or how much in shape I was. So I flew out to Vegas and worked out with the entire team that was out there in the mini camp. And we were just running, kind of the same, stuff, same principles that Golden State has. Obviously, Mike implemented his own, things that he believes in, but it was the same feel. And, he's brought in a lot of guys from Golden State that I have relationships with already. So it was like a surreal moment for me. It was a good moment, but, I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him, and I'm happy, that he's brought me along for the ride. It just shows how much he believes in me.
Now, I think one thing you mentioned was just being around the guys. I mean, I saw you at Summer League with the Kings guys, and for me, it seems like from the outside looking in, man, you've always been a guy that people gravitate towards. Like, you're always that guy who's giving dudes high five on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're always that guy who just got a smile on his face. You know what I'm saying? You seem to be everywhere. Like, even this summer, just hanging around the guys on the team and building that rapport. Where would you say that comes from, man? Because I mean, when people talk about Quinn Cook, they say how you're a great teammate. Nobody has anything negative to say about you off of the court. You know what I'm saying? You're always positive and bringing that energy. And I think that's why you've been able to be such a valuable asset to winning teams. Because when you have those winning teams, you can't have anybody who's a cancer or worried about this and that. So for you, I mean, just talk about that side of your personality. I mean, what makes you that way, and kind of why do you feel like it's important to kind of maintain that at this point in your career?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it comes from my mom. My dad was the same way. My sister's the same way. We're just very outgoing people. We're going to speak to everybody. We're going to try to create relationships with, anybody. And that's just how I was brought up. And I've always just been outgoing. And I just love basketball. So, like, it's just something about basketball, something about my teammates that's just always been like a family thing for me. So once I got to I've never not played. So once I kind of faced adversity, in the league, whether it was not playing or being on a non-guaranteed contracts. I kind of found my niche. Like, man, look, like we know you're good. Quinn, you're a good basketball player, but you can get, instead of you having a 5-year NBA career, you can get an extra 9 or an extra 4. You can be having a 9-year career, just being a good teammate. Like, there's so many guys who I've came across who just told me just being professional and being a good teammate takes you a long way. And like for me, like I had on my second year deal with the Lakers, like I had a team option. And they declined the team option. But like Bron, like AD fought for me to come back that year just because I was a good teammate. You know what I'm saying? And they know I could play. Like they know, like, when Rondo, sat out a game and LeBron, sat out a game, they know I could come in and get 20 and fill the void, whatever. But like we had no injuries that year. So my asset to the team was being a good teammate, was being a reflection, like I could communicate to Frank Vogel how AD was doing. I can communicate to Rob Pelinka how LeBron was doing because I had a rapport with everybody, even in Golden State. Like, even though I played a lot in Golden State, like I still, I could talk to Steve, like, hey man, Kevin, like, you know what I'm saying? Just that's kind of always been. I've been a people's person my whole life, so it's been a great niche for me, and I appreciate it just because the relationships that I've made, the connection, the bonds have always been genuine. I never try to force a relationship, and it's worked out, man. And not just because of my career, it's just, I'm friends with like my favorite players growing up. You know what I'm saying? Guys that I've idolized. I mean, I've been, I've created brotherhoods and bonds with them. So it's just something I've always taken pride in, for sure.
Now, you mentioned obviously just dealing with adversity, right? And just dealing with, not playing at times or just always keeping a positive attitude. Obviously, the last year or two have been filled with adversity for you. Obviously, just going overseas and playing in the G League and being at home and trying to navigate, the whole landscape of, working your way back to the NBA, what you have now. I mean, just reflecting on what these last, year and some change has been like for you and just the mindset and, just what you were telling yourself throughout this whole, last year or two.
Yeah, I mean, I went from, man, playing 20, 25 minutes in the finals in 2019, and man, I wasn't on the deal in 2021. So like, it happened fast, right? I'm the leading scorer off the bench for Golden State 2 years. This and that, man. When Steph went down, man, I'm averaging 18, 19 as a starter. I get a nice deal. Outside of KCP, man, I got the most money coming off the bench for the Lakers. So I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? But like, I got hurt in LA. I was never healthy in LA. I had an opportunity in Cleveland, wasn't healthy. They didn't bring me back. And man, I had a really, really, really bad stretch. Just my calf just, my calf wasn't right. So I had a little stint in Portland, didn't work out, wasn't healthy. And then, man, I kind of just missed playing. Like, I just missed, like, not being a guy, but, like my 2 years in LA, man, like I never got an opportunity, besides maybe 20 games out of 2 seasons. I had 20, 25, 30 games to where I could play. So I kind of just missed playing, man. And, that kind of fueled like the overseas. Like I had some minimum deals. I had some deals where they really wanted me to come in to a locker room and kind of, just be the 14, 15 guy. But at that time, like I just wanted to play. I wanted to show the world that I was back healthy. So, I ventured overseas, and obviously the situation didn't end up working out. But, I went back to the G League, and I took, when I got back from Russia, I took about a month and a half, 2 months to like really, really get right. And I got the healthiest that I had been the past 3 years. And man, them 10 games, man, in Stockton with the Kings D-League team, it was the most fun I had in basketball in a while, man. And just really getting back hooping and having fun. It was a great opportunity for me. And I had so much fun, man. And sometimes, people's pride might be too big. Like for me, like I've gotten MVP in the D League. I done scored 50 in the D League. I done did everything in the D League. But like some people pride won't let you come back in the D League, right? But for me, I was looking forward to the opportunity. Bobby Jackson was the head coach. Paul Johnson was the GM. They gave me a great opportunity. And the guys welcomed me in with open arms, man. I got to hoop. I got to feel good again. And it's propelled me to this point. So I'm happy the road that I took, man, because a lot of dark days, but the dark days don't last forever.
It's wild how you mentioned Paul Johnson. I spoke with him when I was out in Vegas as well. He's also a DMV guy. Also, played at Gonzaga High School and played at LaSalle as well. And now he's over GM of the Stockton Kings. And he also does some stuff with the Sacramento Kings as well. But great dude. So small world, man. Small world.
Yeah, I grew up watching Paul, man. He used to have battles with St. John's against Nolan Smith, Chris Wright, Dante Cunningham. He played with Stanley Hodge at Gonzaga. Man, I grew up watching him. So for all to come full circle, I remember I was a big Laker fan, and Bobby Jackson used to kill us. And, like, you know what I'm saying? He was sixth man of the year, everything. And, like, he became my head coach. Like, I'm a basketball player, but I'm more of a fan even still to this day. So it's still, like, it still gives me chills when I, like, make connections with guys that I grew up watching. So that's, like, the best part about the job for me.
For sure. And while we're on the topic just about kind of the last year or so, man, obviously me, being overseas these last 2 years now, I kind of got a better feel just of overseas basketball, man. And that thing you had with Locomotive, you walked into a situation that obviously was tough for you because you didn't end up finishing the season there, man. But that roster was loaded. I mean, you were playing with Eric McCollum, who was the all-time leading scorer in Euro Cup. You got Stan Kidd, who's a former NBA player. Jonathan Motley's a former NBA player. Greg Williams was on a two-way with the Nuggets. I mean, you guys had a crazy team. Just talk about what that experience was like. Like, because you mentioned you played in the G League, been in the league. That was your first time going abroad. So, number one, like, kind of what went into making that decision to go over there to Russia, and then number two, just what was that whole experience like? I'm sure it was probably a culture shock going over there for the first time, and just trying to have to adjust to the roles and things like that. But just talk about what that experience was like for you going to Russia.
I mean, it was definitely a different experience. Like I said, I wanted to play. Like, I just wanted to play. That was my biggest thing. Like, I turned down a couple, minimum deals in the NBA, knowing I'm not going to play, but just like, man, I want to play. Like, I'm 28 years old. I still got a lot of, game left. I got a lot of miles left. Like, I just wanted to go play. And obviously I had different situations. I had China. I had a lot. But, I mean, I think Europe is probably the most respected, just outside the NBA and obviously the G League. I think Europe is probably the most respected, as I was told, as I was advised. But I just wanted to play, man. The coach was like, man, you're going to play, this and that, man. And I got there. I just never got an opportunity for real. But, like, it was cool. Like, we had a lot of Americans, even the Russians over there was real nice. They was cool. We had a couple guys on the national team. So it was a great experience. But I was just chasing the bag for real. Like, I wanted to play, and they gave me a unbelievable salary, something like it was way more money that I would have made on the minimum deal with taxes in America. So I really was just chasing the money. But, like, to my defense, like, I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know the differences between the leagues. I didn't know anything. I just saw the number on a piece of paper, and the coach told me I was going to play all the minutes. So that's all I really needed to hear. So for me, it was eye-opening, but it was fun. Like, I'm happy I did it, man. It was I have a different respect for, guys who go overseas, and to play this game. And, it was challenging, but I learned a lot from it. I was over there 2.5, 3 weeks, but, I learned a lot for sure.
Now, I think talk a lot about your pro career, but I do want to pivot a little bit. Obviously, you are Duke Blue Devil. You mentioned won a national championship there, man. And obviously, you played for Coach K there, who recently retired, man. And obviously, shook up the basketball world when Jeff Goodman, broke that news last season, man. So, when you heard him, first of all, did you know before he was coming out, or like did you find out like everybody else did when the tweet broke? And then,
y'all know I knew before, man.
So what?
I knew before, man.
What was your reaction when you first found out? Like, you know what I'm saying? What was going through your head?
So when I was there, man, I mean, just through the players, like, we used to always be like, man, how much time do you think he got? You know what I'm saying? That was just like a question. And when I was a freshman, maybe it was like, maybe he got 4 years. My senior year, maybe he got another 5 years. You know what I'm saying? It was always, but it's not like I wasn't shocked. It's not like I wasn't shocked because obviously he's older. He's been coaching 40. I think he coached 42 years, if I'm not mistaken. I say it's a long time, but it's just certain coaches or certain figures that you see. It's like life isn't the same if they're not doing. You know what I'm saying? Like when Kobe retired, I think it's kind of like what is life without Kobe in the NBA? You know what I'm saying? That's all we knew growing up, Coach K. So I think it was more of that feeling, but like just knowing him, knowing his family, like he's all about family. And seeing him, like I committed there in 2010. So knowing him the past 12 years on the level that I know him, when I seen him after he retired, well, after he announced he retired, he just seemed just more free. And like he seemed more free. And obviously, he's going to be the most prepared. He's going to give, Duke, the players, the fans, everything about Duke, his all. But you could just tell, like, the end was coming. This past year when I seen him, and then I coached his K Academy, his camp, this past summer in June, and like obviously not now he's retired, and he's just like so free. He's just, you know what I'm saying? He's just let loose, and it's cool to see that because he's so focused. He's so on point. He's so prepared. He's so like that's what has made him who he is. But it was just cool just to see a different side of him, and obviously he'll still be around. He'll still be a part of not just Duke but basketball in general. But it's definitely going to be weird not seeing him because obviously that's all we know. That's all the generation and the generation before us, has known as Coach K coaching at Duke. So obviously the best coach ever to me, and it's definitely going to be different. But happy to be a part of his legacy and happy for John Shire to come right after him.
And I gotta ask it, man, because I think it would be remiss if I didn't ask this question, man. Because I'm pretty sure you were at that game at Cameron Indoor, that last game when you guys played UNC, man. What was the vibe in the building that last game? And then obviously, fast forward to the Final Four, Duke versus UNC in the Final Four, and obviously Duke ends up losing, man. What just as a player, because for me, I'm watching the game on TV, that last game at Cameron, and I'm like, it's no possible way that these dudes is going to lose Coach K's last game in Cameron. Like I couldn't wrap my mind around that even being a possibility, especially with all the players in the stand and like that. For you, first part I'll say, what was that just environment like, man, in Cameron that last game, and then two, when you see how it all ends, just like with the two losses to UNC, like how do you think just the I don't know, what are your thoughts on that, man? Because I feel like UNC, man, they probably feel like they got bragging rights forever at this point because of that, man. Just as a Dookie, man, we got to get your perspective on it.
Nah, well, first, just being there, it's crazy. Like, I had just got to Sacramento, and I just played my first game in the G League, and we had a game. We had a game that Sunday, and the Coach K game was on Saturday. So obviously I had made arrangements, to go to the game already, but I didn't think that I was going to go to the G League and what have you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. So I was stuck, like, do I go? Blah, blah, blah. So I talked to Bobby Jackson. He's like, man, you better go. Like, I don't care if you playing this game. Like, that Coach K, that's forever. You know what I'm saying? We don't care. Like, even to this day, I don't even remember who the starting. I don't even remember who played that day. You know what I'm saying? But to his point, you know what I'm saying? He was a player. He's like, man, you better go to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you're one of the most respected guys there. Like, you got to go. So to be in town and to be there on that game, it was crazy because, like, you had guys who played there in the 70s. You had guys who played there in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, the recent guys, 2020, you know what I'm saying? So that was dope. And we all, like, like, I know we have that, the saying of brotherhood, but, like, it's really a brotherhood. Like, like, I know, like, I can talk to Grant Hill, like, I can call Grant Hill right now. Like, I can call Jay Williams right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have real relationships. And sometimes, like, y'all know, like, when y'all go to college, like, those guys you was with those 4 years, and maybe the guys a little bit after or a little bit before, you're going to have a relationship with, but you might not have a relationship with a guy if you played in 2015. You might not have a relationship with a guy who played in 05 or 03, 02. It's just realistic. Like, even in high school, like DeMatha, like, I don't really have relationships with certain guys who played in 2001. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might know them, but I graduated. Well, I didn't graduate, but I was supposed to graduate in 2011. But it was just there at Duke is like real, like Daniel Ewing, you know, Sean Dockery, Leitner. He played 90 in the like early 90s, 91. Johnny Dawkins, 89. Like, you feel me? Like Danny Ferry, like DeMatha and Duke. So like, I'm naming these guys like we have real relationships. So that was the best part, just to see all the guys come back. And obviously, man, like you, like we know, like it's Carolina. Like, we gotta beat them. Like, that's Duke fans only care about we can go 2-25. If we beat Carolina twice, we good. Like, to the fans, you know what I'm saying? We straight. Obviously, we want to beat, but like it was a lot going on. Like to like the teams this year's defense. Like we killed Carolina there. You know what I'm saying? And Carolina had been struggling up to that point, man. And it was a lot that game, man. It was a lot. But to Carolina's, you know, credit, they came out and they hooped. Like, they struggled in the first half. We was up in the first half, and they came out, punches in the mouth in the second half, and they finished it. And that kind of propelled them, that springboarded them to that run. But obviously, man, we see them in the Final Four. I'm like, all right, cool. This was destiny. Y'all got us Coach K's last game in Cameron, but we about to get y'all in the 4. And it's our first time playing against each other, you know, in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? And it's like whoever wins this game got bragging rights for a minute. Like, the only way we can really, and they won. The only way we can really top them, we got to beat them in the national championship, or like we got to beat them in the Final Four. We can't beat them in the 16. We can't beat them in the Elite 8. It's not the Final Four. So they got the little bragging rights right now. They know, like, Carolina, it was hot for a month. Man, Carolina ain't touching us. It's not even close. Like, shout out to Michael Jordan. Shout out to Tywan Lawson. Shout out to the Vince Carters. I mean, obviously Carolina is one of the best, you know, programs ever. Not just college, but ever. But they know who run the rivalry. It's Duke, man. So I was sick to my stomach, but you know what I'm saying? They got us for right now. But we
$1 million question. $1 million question. Paolo Banchero, Mark Williams, Wendell Moore, Trevor Kills. Are those guys allowed back in Cameron Indoor? Like, they lost at Cameron and they lost in the Final Four. Like, are they allowed back on campus?
You're right. You're not, and that's like the kind of perspective that's out there. But I mean, like, bro, they went to the 4, bro. Like, going to the final, like, we ain't been back to the Final Four since my senior year. Like, it's been a 7-year absent. You know what I'm saying? We ain't been there, bro. We've been to 2 Elite Eights, I believe. But yeah, we lost with Bagley in the 8, I believe, and then we lost with Zion in the 8. But going to the Final Four is tough. So, I mean, I think I do believe, you know, just those 2 losses kind of overshadows, you know, what they did this year. But you know, I mean, I think still going to the Final Four is a hell of a season. Now, obviously, you know, we want to beat Carolina, but it is what it is. We'll have the last laugh somewhere. I don't know when. It might be 50 years from now. We're gonna have the last laugh for sure.
For sure. No, that was great, man. I got to pivot a little bit, man, because I think, you know, obviously, given your time, like you mentioned, with those 2 championship teams with the Warriors and the Lakers, man, you had the opportunity to play with some of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball, man. And like you mentioned, like, you know, how you're a fan of basketball. I mean, I feel like me and my brother are 2 of the biggest fans of basketball. Hence why we got this podcast going on while we playing and doing all this stuff, man. Love the game of basketball, man. And I feel like I had to ask, man, just what was that experience like, man, playing with Bron, playing with KD, you know, playing with Steph? Like, those are literally 3 of the AD as well, like the best players to ever lace them up, man. And if you had to differentiate in those guys' leadership styles, right? Like, you got, I guess from the outside looking in, you could tell me if I'm wrong, you know, Steph seems like he's more of kind of a laid-back guy, kind of lead by example. You know, KD kind of just like, I'm going to stick to basketball. I'm going to get this 30-piece McNugget and go about my day. And LeBron's kind of like that guy who talks and kind of in the front of everything. But from being in the locker room, man, how would you describe those 3 guys and their leadership, I guess, perspective? And then what do you think makes those 3 guys great? Just would you say just from playing with them?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I was lucky. I've had relationships with those guys even before I became their teammate. So It's a little different for me. Just going there comfortable because knowing I had the best players on the team, like I had a relationship with them. It was a little easier for me. But yeah, man, I mean, those guys are probably the three of the best guys to ever play the game. I call Steph the best point guard ever. I love Jordan. Like, if I'm being politically correct, I'll say Jordan's the best player ever. But I didn't see Jordan in Chicago, at an age where I really understood basketball. I really understood the impact. Right. So, I mean, the greatest player I ever saw, was LeBron, on a day-to-day basis, man. I remember seeing him in high school and seeing him early in Cleveland and him taking that 017 to the chip. I seen him go to, you know what I'm saying? I seen it. And like I said, I've been lucky having a relationship with him. And then KD, he's the best player that I've ever seen, in my life, from where we from. But, I've seen him my whole life. He's been, my best friend since I was 6 years old. So just seeing his growth, seeing where he is, I've seen everything of Kevin Durant. So I'm a little biased. So those three guys are in my top 5 all the time. It's just, I might say I'm biased, but I really believe that. But so I say that to say I've had relationships with them, but they're different. They're the hardest working guys in the room. They're rock stars, they're mega stars, they're superstars. But just how humble they are is very, very, very impressive. Is something that sticks with people. They understand their impact with people, and they understand the impact in the world. So they do so much for the community, do so much for people, they do so much for the team. They have different leadership skills. LeBron's he's outgoing, he's gonna talk to everybody. K, once he gets comfortable with you, he's outgoing, he's funny, but he's more reserved. He's more I'm gonna lead by my actions more than my voice. Steph is more kind of saying he's gonna lead more. He's gonna talk. Obviously, he's a point guard, he's the best player. He's gonna, speak, but he's more of a lead with his actions. But Bron is more I'm gonna lead with my voice and also my actions. But those guys are the first in the gym, they're the last to leave. And they're the best, man. And it's just to be around that type of greatness, those type of people, you can only get better, elevate not just your game, but your life. So I've been lucky, man. I've been lucky to play with, my 3 favorite players ever.
Now, you played with those 3 guys, but you also played with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, man. And I know you had to have some crazy Draymond stories in there, man. I mean, listen, before we get you on this podcast, I need one Draymond story, one you haven't told, man. You know what I'm saying? We need one that you could tell on the air.
Yeah, literally, that's crazy. I was just talking to Dede on the way back, on the way I was out in, coming back here to do this. I was just talking to him me and Dede, we talk every other day. I love Klay to death. Me and Klay had a great rapport, man. I remember when I first got to Golden State. I had my career high up to that point against Golden State, man. And Klay was the first to remind me, man. And he used to always be when I didn't shoot or when I would be not as aggressive, he'd be man, he was aggressive when I was guard. You know what I'm saying? But that was confidence for me. And I'll never forget, man, with Klay. When I first got to Golden State, I was shooting with Andre Iguodala. I was shooting with Sean after practice every day. And Steph was out for a little bit early, and I had some big games. I showed my shooting ability. So I remember when Steph's first day back at practice, Steph and Klay used to shoot with each other every single day after practice. So we break. Steph and Klay's going over to their basket, and I'm going over where me and Andre and Sean and D West used to shoot. I'm walking over there, Klay and Steph's nah, you coming with us. Nah, you shoot, come on. And that's solidified me. I'm oh, bet. If they think I can shoot, I can shoot. You know what I'm saying? For the next 2 years, I shot with Klay and Steph every day. But that was me and Klay's relationship, super, super tight. But Draymond, man, I just think the best Draymond story was just he was just like that. You get bullied, you know what I'm saying? You might get beat at the blacktop. Say, you might lose a couple games on the blacktop, right? And all right, I'm gonna come back with my big brother, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be different. And I remember we was playing Houston. I remember we was playing Houston, and we got down 3-2, and this the story is special to me because it's 2-2, game 5 in Houston, and I'm in the game. It's like a minute left. I'm in the game, and we get a stop. I'm guarding Chris Paul. We get a stop, and we get the rebound. However, Draymond pushes it, and it's like Klay, Steph, KD, Draymond, and me in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the fifth guy on the court, but I'm really like the seventh option for real. You feel me? Like, there's no way I need to be touching the ball. There's a minute left, to go up 3-2. And Draymond like threw me the ball, right?
Were you on the right wing?
I was on the right wing.
I remember that. I remember
right
this play.
He hit me, and I missed the shot. I missed it. They come down. They don't score. We get another one. Draymond turns the ball over, and we end up losing the game. And obviously, they killing me on Twitter. They killing me this and that. And after the game, Draymond came up to me and was like, bro, like, I'll pass you that rock 100 times out of 100 times. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he stood up for me, like, in the press, and said something on Instagram. And it was like, really, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and him have always been tight, but he really, like, not just trying to save me, but he, like, really believed, like, bro, you really can hit that shot. Like, you was on the court for a reason. Like, I passed you the ball for a reason. And so that meant a lot to me. But the next year, you know what I'm saying, against Toronto, I had 3 threes in a row in the finals, game 2.
I was about to say, it came full circle, because that's the picture that
same
was
spot.
viral when you fell on the sideline, and I think Drake was right there. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Same
So
spot.
Same spot. So after the game, I'm walking up the court, and Draymond, like, comes, grabs me, like, and he whispers in my ear, like, I told you I believed in you. So I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, feeling myself a little bit. I'm like, yeah, of course. He's like, nah, like, remember, like, they ain't want us to pass you the ball there last year, but like, we believe in you. And like, I start like tearing up, bro. 'Cause I'm like, bro, like, just little stuff like that. It's not social media. It's not, obviously it comes from like your belief in yourself, your work, but like, he kind of instilled that in me, like, bro, these dudes, and they're the best. Like, Golden State's the best to me. They're the best franchise. They up there with the Bulls, and them just winning the championship this year solidifies, like, they up there with the Bulls, the Lakers, the 80s Lakers, the Spurs. Like, Golden State's one of the greatest franchises ever, and for those guys to believe in me, like, meant the world to me. So that's my favorite Draymond Green story. Just a personal story for me, not crazy, just something that means a lot to me.
That's a great story. That's a great story, man. I also got to ask, man, like, because it's crazy how everything comes full circle, man. And one of the other full circle moments, I noticed that you mentioned it on the podcast, you grew up a big time Lakers fan. You got that picture on your Instagram where you wearing a Lakers jersey when you were young and everything like that. Take me back to that 2020 season. Obviously, Kobe passes away mid-season, and you guys ended up winning the title that year in the bubble. You know, for you, number one, growing up as a Lakers fan. Number two, being in LA, the season that the greatest tragedy in the franchise history took place. And then being able to kind of cap that off for the championship. What was that year like, man? What was that season like? What was it post in the locker room, man? Because I can imagine it's probably like, yo, when it happened, I felt like it's probably like, yo, man, we got to win the championship. Like, there's no other option than for us to win, when you guys ended up seeing that through. But what was that time period like, man, when you guys heard the news in the locker room? And I know just the Lakers organization, I mean, it was just, I'm sure it was crazy, but I kind of want to give you the floor to kind of speak on that time period.
Yeah, I mean, Lakers was a dream come true for me. I'm in here with my best friend right now, and he'll tell you, like, me and him was the biggest Laker fans ever. Leaving Golden State, I had, some teams would, offer me more money. Teams who promised me more opportunity, but like anybody who knows me growing up, like, I was, Kobe everything. I was Laker everything. Me and my pops was, Laker fans. So, felt like I had to do that. Like, I had to, like, play for the Lakers. It was a golden opportunity. Brown called me, AD called me, Rob called me, and it was just something I wanted to do. I was fresh off 2 finals appearances, one championship, one, finals loss. But like it was kind of like I saw what they was doing in LA. It made sense, and they took care of me. So made sense, man. I wish I would have played more, obviously, but it was great to be here in that locker room. It was definitely the closest team that I ever been on. It was just something that's so surreal. Speaking about Kobe, it's crazy because we were celebrating Kobe like that whole week because Bron, was about to pass him. So in scoring. So obviously, all the Kobe stuff was coming up and, not comparing LeBron to Kobe, but just celebrating the both of them. And we were in Philly. We was on a long East Coast road trip. We was in Philly, placed Philly Saturday night, and Bron got it in Kobe's hometown. And I'll never forget he talked to Kobe that night. I remember that morning. Me and Bron Bron, and Deli would be the first ones on the bus every city. Like we'll get breakfast or get something, do something early in the morning just so where we all together. I remember AD had an interview early that morning, so he couldn't come, but it was just all to be us four. And so me, Duds, and Brown were on a bus, and Brown was talking to Kobe like that morning before we got to, going to the airport to fly back to LA. So I just remember we got on a flight leaving Philly, and 5-hour flight, 4-hour flight, whatever it was. And, we all sleep. Guys went out that night or whatever, so we all in there sleep. And I just remember Frank Vogel like waking me up like, man, Quinn, wake up. Like, Kobe passed him, his daughter died. I'm like, what? Like, you feel me? Like, we ain't, and DeMarcus Cousins is sitting next to me. So I'm like, what are you talking about? And he tells DeMarcus. So I look up and I see Dwight Howard just like bawling in tears. I'm like, the hell is good? So, we got Wi-Fi and stuff on our planes. So I'm looking, I'm like, are they serious? And it's everywhere. So we ain't thinking nothing of it, but like it was a little surreal for us is because like you look everywhere on the plane, like guys have real relationships with him. Like you go on the back, Rob Pelinka, who's our GM, was his agent. Judy Seto, who's our head trainer, was, his go-to guy for the past, 20 years. Rob Lowry was, his best friend and personal security. Jay Kidd was his point guard. And, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it was just so much close to home, man. So it just didn't seem surreal. We landed and you see the news people there. They canceled our next game against the Clippers on that Tuesday. It was crazy, but like, we knew Kobe wouldn't want nothing else but for us to win, and not even if we didn't win, just try to go as hard as possible. And then 2 months later, we had COVID. So we were like, damn, is the season going to end? Like, what is going on? But
right.
Got it back together. We got to the bubble and we got it done for him. But that was crazy. Probably the craziest season in Laker history. But capped it off with a championship, man. It's something that they can never take from us, for sure.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of moments, a lot of stories. When you look at, one memory, you got to say that there's one that sticks out, whether it's from your time in LA, your time in Golden State, your time at Duke, or whatever it may be. I mean, what's the one memory that you say, all right, like this one I'm never gonna forget, till the day I die?
I think it was that run that me and Katie had. Well, I ain't gonna say Katie because Katie does it every year. He's been doing it. So let me not try to fake, like, you feel me, like. But I'll just say the maybe what it was 20-game run that I had with Golden State, just kind of like, showing like the world that I'm for real. Like I'm not just a, guy that, a role. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever y'all need me to score 30, I can score 30. You need me to get a double-double, I can get a double-double. That was fun. Like it was fun, like to really like hoop, like getting buckets and really like. But the best part was when Steph came back and I still was in the mix. You know what I'm saying? I was coming off for him and in there with him in the trenches and really like playing 18 minutes, scoring 12. And, that was the best part. Like, obviously, me scoring a lot of points was cool, but like Steph wasn't playing. So, I still had that in the back of my mind. But when Steph got there, like, and I still was in a rotation, I still was in the trenches when it got unchy, like I still was hooping. You know what I'm saying? That was great. And the next year, like it didn't drop off. Like, I was the backup point guard, like from the rip. You know what I'm saying? And I led the Golden State and scoring off the bench. You know what I'm saying? So that was my favorite moment. It's been my favorite moment of my basketball career for sure.
Man, now it's 2 a.m., so I'm not gonna keep you for much longer, man. But I do want to give you opportunity to kind of talk about some off the court stuff, man, because I read on your Instagram story, word for word, the other day, man. You said we just signed the biggest deal of my career off the court thus far. And you were talking about a deal you had with Jack McClinton. I don't know if you could speak on it now, if it's two in the works, but I want to give you opportunity to kind of speak on that, man. And also, a couple of years back in 2020, you released a children's book, called The Cookbook. And I just kind of wanted to ask you about that, man. Like, for one, what made you want to become an author? And then number two, why a children's book? You know what I'm saying? Why did you feel like that was the route that you wanted to go? So kind of a two-part question with the Jack McClinton business and then the children's book. But I kind of want to give you a chance to kind of talk about that aspect of your life off the court.
Yeah, it's crazy that you put two and two together. I mean, that was what I was referring to. You know what I'm saying? We just sold our book to a company and it's coming out soon, but signed the NDA, so I can't speak on it until they release it.
Congrats on the deal. That's big time, bro. Congrats.
But man, yeah, my mom bought me a children's book growing up called Saw in My Shoes. It was about Michael Jordan, about him getting taller. Changed my life. You know what I'm saying? I still I would read it to this day. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say I'll still read it, but it's a book that I will always go back to growing up. And my mom was an author as well. My mom, she published 2 books herself. So she was like, she used to walk around the crib like, man, I'm an author. Like, y'all tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I used to always love that. Like, okay, shorty, like, you feel me? Like, I love that. But, man, like, just, I'm all about the community. I'm all about giving back. And it was just something different that Jack brought to the table. He had a vision, and we brought it to life. We had a lot of help. But us two, COVID kind of slowed us down. We didn't know the bubble kind of, we thought it was going to be on pause. But us writing it together and us, getting the illustrations and going through this, and, we had this obstacle and that obstacle, it never stopped. And, we met the right people along the way. And we put it together and we just sold it. And I've had a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff that I'm working on, but to this date, it's going to be the biggest deal that I've signed to this date. Hopefully, God willing, I get way, way, way more, way bigger. But we went to New York and we signed the deal, and something that I never thought could be possible. But like for me growing up, I know what that book Salt in My Shoes did for me. You know what I'm saying? So, maybe if it's not 1 million kids, maybe if it's not, 1,000 kids, maybe if it's 50 kids, if we could change 50 kids' lives, so we could, motivate 20 kids, that the goal has been accomplished. So, man, I just been trying to venture off and not trying to wait till basketball's over to start thinking about, my next move. I want to have a lot of hustles, a lot of, lucrative income. So, and it keeps my mind free, man. Like I used to just think about basketball. I used to, base my life and my happiness on basketball. But now since I've, been in business, for 2-3 years heavy, my basketball is just free. I feel better just because it's really my therapy now. So it's not my end all be all. So, man, yeah, thanks for asking about that. It's something that I take a lot of pride in. So for sure.
No doubt. Quinn Cook, the author, man. That's all right, man.
Yeah, that's solid. That's all right right
there. Now, but before we get you off here, man, we asked Mike Jones, we asked James Robinson the other day, man. Obviously, I feel like you know what's coming up, man. There's been a lot of great teams that come through the Mather, you know what I'm saying, over the last 50, 100 years, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Well, I don't even know how far you want to go back, but obviously you played on some great teams there with Josh Selby, Najee Hibbert, and also with Vic and Jeremy Grant, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously you had a team with Nigel and Austin Freeman and Jeff Allen, all them boys, and you can go way back in history. I know you're probably more of a historian than I am, but you know what I'm saying. Who had the best Mather team, man? And then also after you answer that, you also played at Oak Hill.
your last year. I don't even know who's on that roster, but I know y'all definitely probably had some pros on that one. So could that team at Oak Hill be the best Mavericks team you played on?
Well, first, I gotta get love to, Keith Bogans and Joe Forte, and I think it was '98. I think, if you ask somebody who's seen, that team and the teams that I played on, that team always comes up. So you got to give respect to them. You got to give respect to 06. Nigel, Austin Freeman, Jeff. That team, Jeff Peterson, Jare. That team won a national championship. So, those two teams really come to mind. Obviously, you had Travis Garrison, who graduated in '02. You had Morgan's like early teams, a team that beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like Adrian Danley played, I don't know, their records and stuff, Danny Ferry. So, I'm always be respectful. But my 09, 010 team, man, they know what's up with us, man. I don't got, you know what I'm saying?
Who was on that roster? That was you, Vic, Jerry, and on them, right?
Yeah, so me, Vic, Jern, Jeremy. Well, 09, we had me, Vic, Jern, Josh Shelby, was number one player in the class, Najee. James was a freshman. We had Mikael Hopkins. We was loaded. And then that next year, like when me and Vic was first team all met, Jern was second team. Moo was on the team now. He's a sophomore. I think that was the best team that I played on in DeMatha. We had some bad losses, but if we lined it up, you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to get into the records or what happened. But if we lined it up, and me and Bogues had this argument last week at the Elite 24. I'm always give my respects, but man, they know what's up with us. They know what's up with us. Now, I tell Austin all the time, man, look, y'all the OGs. I used to try to walk like Austin. I used to try to dribble like Nigel. I used to try to do everything like Chris Wright, and I used to walk and run like Austin. But they know what's up with us, man. I don't really. We got. I was player of the year that year, first junior, 30 years. All met. We got a 2-time, all-star on there. We got two first-round draft picks. We got Jeremy Grant, a max player. One of the best big men in Europe right now, Mikael Hopkins. Most winningest player in DeMatha history, James Robinson. I don't know, bro. I like our chance. I like our chance. And when I got to Oak Hill, it was me, Ben McLemore, AJ Hammers, Jordan Adams. We had 5 NBA guys make the league. But it's just a little different at Oak Hill. You meet guys in September and you got to make it work. You know what I'm saying? DeMatha, we all grew up together. Me, Jeremy, and Jern have been teammates since we were 7. Me and Vic met in the 5th grade and played every game together after that. So, DeMatha probably would have won just because we had more stain. You know what I'm saying? But okay, we was nice. We lost the national championship in triple overtime. We could have won national championship in my Oak Hill tier. So that was fun. I don't know who would have won that game. Maybe DeMatha if I was a bad man, but I don't know. But to answer y'all first question, all the DeMatha teams respect all the great teams, but they know what's up with us. They know what's up.
I know it, man. Man, like I said, man, I could keep you on here all night, man, but I'll let you go, man. For y'all listening to this, man, it's 2:16 in the morning East Coast time, man. We got Quinn Cook on a podcast, man. So from the bottom of my heart, bro, I really just want to say thank you for coming on, bro, because you didn't have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's 2 a.m. right now. You could be asleep, bro. And I know there's a lot of people, man, from our own hometown. I've heard you speak on this on live. So I want to say while we got you on the platform, man, everybody be talking about this and that, man, but I want to give you your flowers while you right here. You know what I'm saying? From somebody who's 26. I looked up to you when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? And you, without a doubt, one of the best to come from our area, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's an honor to have you on this platform. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing where you've been able to take your career, bro. And from the bottom of my heart, man, I just want to say thank you for coming on with us. And like I said, I know you're going to accomplish many more great things down the line in your NBA career, basketball career, off the court career. Like I said, you got the book now, man. So I just want to say thank you to you, man. And like I said, man, I just want to give you your flowers while we're on here right now, man. No matter what the noise, man. You know, you one of them ones for sure. And you showed it this summer, man. You know what I'm saying? You got it spicy in the Brunson, that game out for you. We seen the footage, you know what I'm saying? So definitely got to give you your flowers for sure, man. I wanted to say that to you, you know, while we on air.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for the love, man. Y'all always positive. Y'all always, showing love, man. I appreciate y'all having this platform. I appreciate y'all putting a spotlight on where we from. Where we from, basketball is everything. And y'all not just highlighting, the NBA guys. Y'all not just highlighting the guys that's known. Y'all giving everybody a platform. A lot of people might not know who James Robinson is. A lot of people might not know who Eric Green is. You know what I'm saying? You guys are giving them a platform, and I appreciate that, man. My whole point of moving back home, my whole point of doing the spicy stuff, I wanted to put a light on our area and the tradition. And it's not just DC, it's not just PG County, VA, Montgomery County. We're all one. When we go to Philly, we go together. When we go to New York, we going together. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what y'all doing. It's y'all in Japan. You about to go to LA. Congrats to you on your job as well. And we all fighting. We all fighting the same fight. But we got to understand, like, what we're doing is rare. You know what I'm saying? What we doing. Not a lot of guys our age are doing this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, we changing the world. So, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all got to get y'all flowers too. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the love, man. We're going to keep building. We'll keep going for sure.
All righty, guys. That was Quinn Cook, man. And Ace, that was a special episode, man. I mean, I think that interview with Quinn was probably one of the best interviews that we've done, man, just based on the stories that he told, based on the energy we had on the podcast. I mean, that was definitely amazing. And that's one that, even though I just did the interview, like, I'm gonna probably go back and listen to it again, and just for pure enjoyment's sake, man, because I truly enjoyed that conversation, man. Definitely, shout out to Quinn, obviously, for making time for us, on the podcast, man. And I think obviously I'm going to be excited to see how everything pans out with the Kings. Obviously, with training camp getting started now, and preseason on the horizon, man. It's definitely going to be fun just to see how that plays out in Sacramento with Mike Brown and obviously the old Warriors connection going on over there, man. So yeah, man, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
Nah, it was honestly one of our best interviews we've ever did, man. I don't say it lightly because we've had some outstanding guests, man. But that dude, man, it's crazy to think about the team that he's played on, man. Obviously, it was Warriors team with Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and Lakers teams with Bron and AD, and I mean the national championship teams. I mean, playing for Coach K, winning the national title there at Duke, man. I mean, he's literally done it all, man. And obviously, teams playing on that DeMatha with Vic Oladipo and Jeremy Grant, Jarian Grant, and I mean, it literally the list goes on and on and on, man. That dude is literally a winner at every level, man. And we were definitely super grateful to have him on. So just want to say thank you again to Quinn for coming on, man. Wishing the best of luck with Sacramento, man. And obviously with the children's book that he came out with, man. I mean, that's super cool that he's also doing stuff off the court, for the community, man. So yeah, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, man, because that was definitely one of our best we've ever done for sure.
All right, folks, for real this time, man. This is definitely might be, the last time we see Ace on the podcast for a little while, man. So Ace, man, you know what I'm saying? Enjoy Vegas. Enjoy training camp, man. Best of luck with your season with the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna be super fun. Looking forward to, like I said, watching you guys this season and following along the journey, man. But folks, like I said before, man, this has been the first episode of the What's in Your Bag podcast with Andrew Robinson. Make sure you guys are liking this podcast, subscribing to this podcast. We're going to have many more interviews and many more guests like the ones you just heard today. So make sure you guys turn on your post notifications and tell a friend, man, because this is just the beginning, man. But we'll catch you guys next time on the next episode of What's in Your Bag. Until next time, folks.